Horizon Zero Dawn immerses players in a post-apocalyptic world where nature and machines intertwine in stunning harmony. Developed by Guerrilla Games, the game offers a compelling mix of open-world exploration, strategic combat, and an intriguing story centered around its strong protagonist, Aloy. However, while the game excels in many areas, it also suffers from issues, particularly with its combat system, including significant hitbox problems, that detract from the otherwise well-crafted experience. Visually, Horizon Zero Dawn is breathtaking. The game's world feels alive, a beautiful blend of reclaimed nature and towering robotic creatures. The environments range from dense forests and snowy mountains to arid deserts, each meticulously detailed and vibrant. The massive robotic creatures are a marvel of design, acting not only as enemies but as integral parts of the world's ecosystem. This blend of nature and technology gives the game a unique atmosphere that sets it apart from other post-apocalyptic settings. Exploring the world feels rewarding, with each new vista offering a sense of awe and discovery. The combat system in Horizon Zero Dawn is built around Aloy's ability to fight and hunt robotic creatures, with an emphasis on strategy over brute force. Players must scan enemies, exploit their weaknesses, and use a wide range of tools and weapons to succeed. The variety of machines, from the nimble watchers to the colossal thunderjaws, forces players to constantly adapt their strategies. The game rewards thoughtful preparation, whether it's by setting traps, using elemental arrows, or overriding certain machines to turn them into allies. This strategic depth is one of the game's most engaging elements, keeping combat exciting and fresh throughout. Despite this, the combat also suffers from several frustrating flaws. One of the most glaring issues is the hitbox inconsistency, particularly with ranged weapons like the bow. Players frequently experience moments where arrows seem to pass through enemies without registering a hit, especially when aiming at moving targets or specific weak points. This problem is exacerbated during intense battles where precision is crucial, such as fights against flying machines or fast-moving creatures like the Sawtooth. These hitbox inconsistencies can lead to unnecessary frustration, as players are often forced to waste resources or reposition unnecessarily due to arrows not landing where they should. In addition to hitbox issues, there are moments when the game's combat feels overly rigid. While the variety of machines keeps encounters from becoming stale, the overall fluidity of combat can suffer in close-quarter battles. The game emphasizes ranged combat, leaving melee attacks feeling less satisfying and clunky in comparison. Dodging and positioning are essential in most fights, but the sometimes awkward movement mechanics can make avoiding enemy attacks feel more like a struggle against the game's controls than a skill-based challenge. On the other hand, the wide array of enemies helps to mitigate some of these combat frustrations. Each machine is designed to offer a unique challenge, forcing players to think on their feet and approach battles differently depending on the enemy type. This variety ensures that no two encounters feel exactly the same. Fighting a massive thunderjaw feels fundamentally different from battling a stalker, which can turn invisible and ambush you. The diverse range of robotic enemies is one of the game's saving graces, injecting a level of excitement and unpredictability into combat that keeps it from becoming repetitive. Where the game falters further is in its human combat. Human enemies lack the complexity and threat that robotic creatures offer. Their AI is relatively simplistic, leading to easy and often unchallenging encounters. Human battles are straightforward compared to the dynamic and tactical nature of machine fights, resulting in a noticeable imbalance. This contrast can make story-driven moments that revolve around fighting human adversaries feel underwhelming, especially compared to the more thrilling machine encounters. Aloy's character arc and the overarching story help elevate the experience. As she embarks on a journey of self-discovery, Aloy's resilience and curiosity draw players into her world. Her quest to uncover the mysteries of her origins and the downfall of humanity is compelling and layered with intrigue. The lore scattered throughout the game provides rich backstory, giving players insight into how the world came to be dominated by machines. The blending of science fiction with ancient history adds depth to the story, making it stand out from other narratives in the action RPG genre. However, while the main story is gripping, the side content is less so. Many of the side quests are standard fare, often revolving around simple fetch missions or basic combat objectives. These side quests rarely stray from open-world RPG tropes, and though they sometimes offer additional lore or background information, they can feel repetitive and unimportant. This reliance on formulaic side quests weakens the overall experience, as it diminishes the motivation to explore every corner of the world. Traversal also feels restrictive at times. The climbing mechanics in Horizon Zero Dawn are limited, with Aloy only able to scale specific, marked surfaces. In a game that encourages exploration, this lack of fluidity can be frustrating, particularly when the world is so vast and visually inviting. The rigidity of the climbing system stands in contrast to the open-ended feel of the game, making certain sections of exploration feel more linear than they should. In conclusion, Horizon Zero Dawn offers a visually stunning world and an intriguing story that draws players into its unique post-apocalyptic setting. Its strategic combat, particularly against the varied machine enemies, is engaging and requires thoughtful planning. However, the game's combat system is marred by hitbox inconsistencies and awkward close-quarters mechanics, while human enemies lack the depth and challenge seen in robotic foes. Despite these shortcomings, the game's rich world, compelling protagonist, and overall sense of discovery make Horizon Zero Dawn an experience worth having, even if it stumbles in its execution at times.